Oh, sorry. The Gamblers versus Stallions.
Gamblers.
Gamblers.
Okay. This will be an interesting one. The Stallions looked better this last weekend, even though the Gamblers pulled out that victory. I did not like the way the Gamblers just completely went conservative mode in the second half. We saw comebacks this weekend, and there were a couple plays and not taking a bad sack by Shea Patterson away from giving up a 17-0 lead.
Yeah.
And it's not mostly on the defense. I think just the Panthers offense started to pick things up and stop being so sloppy. So I don't think that this defense is so dominant for the Gamblers where they're just going to shut down Zamar Smith and the Stallions offense, especially if they played the way they did against the Generals defense. I'm probably going to be leaning Stallions in this game, barring them coming out and saying that Alex Magoo is going to be the starter. Then I might change my mind. But I think it's going to be Stallions if Zamar Smith's out there on the field.
I'm with you, barring the return of Magoo. I think I'm gonna take the over in this game, whatever it is. I liked how Smith was playing quarterback last week. I
Yeah.
think that's a fun brand of football. And I think that the Stallions showed some weak spots in the secondary for me. To me, I saw some things that the Gamblers could take advantage of. It wasn't like they were necessarily prolific yesterday either. They were scoring a lot of points on defense and special teams, sort of making those things work. But I do think that this could be a higher scoring game. Unfortunately, the over-unders don't come out until later in the week for this, so we won't really know what the line's going to be set at. I'm thinking anything around 42 to 48. I'm probably going to take the over.
Yeah, and I think the more and more we get into the season, the offenses get more time together and more chemistry, and they get a little bit more buttoned up. We could see some high-scoring games because
Yeah,
this whole 9-point rule and always being within reach at 9 points could lead to some crazy back and forth. I
for
mean, if
sure.
it's 18 to say you hit 3 field goals, you're down 18-9, and you score, you get the 3 points. All of a sudden, it's 18-18.
Yep,
Like your over/under potential just doubled.
yep. I think that the additional extra point variations here are going to
Yeah.
be really helpful as we get later in the season and some of these offenses start to gel. And I think it could be a fun addition to sort of start playing those overs, especially where I think these lines are a little bit juiced down because people have low expectations for some of these
Yeah.
quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So
I'm with
so
you.
let's move on now to the Stars versus the Maulers. That's Saturday at noon. So tell me what you're thinking ahead of next week's Stars Pittsburgh Mauler matchup.
I mean, I got to get a full opinion on the Maulers. I'm not sure if I have too much confidence in the receiving core. I think Kyle Lauletta is going to be okay, but I think it's going to be a lot of movement in the pocket and trying to open guys up down the field. They have Bailey Gaither, who I did some research on. He's pretty solid. I don't know how I feel about him being like pure wide receiver one when you're seeing guys like Sean Poindexter out here, or like I said, Lance Lenore,
Yeah,
Joe Walter, and now an emerging Randy Satterfield. I don't know how he compares to those kind of guys, but that's kind of their premier weapon there. I got to see what the Maulers look like first before I make a full distinction. But as of right now, I'd probably go with the Stars there. I think Brian Scott is just going to get better and better with each week and just build more consistency over time. We've seen him do it in other leagues before. We saw him do it in D2. Like, we know what we're getting with him. At least we
yeah,
know he's going to be solid in this
yeah.
league, and I'll back that. I'll back that with as blind as I am on the Maulers.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna make a play on this game. I think that I
Mm,
want to know what Lalette is looking like. Because for now, so much of my opinion of him, once again, is colored through this NFL lens. Where I remember
yeah,
when Giants fans, I'm from New York, were calling for this guy to replace Eli Manning. So, and obviously now he's not playing in the
yeah.
NFL, so that worked out, Giants fans. But let's move on now to the last game next week. It's hard to sort of prognosticate on this one because Tampa Bay hasn't played yet either, but it's the Breakers versus the Tampa Bay Bandits. What are you thinking? Your team has an opportunity to establish itself as a real contender. What are you thinking about next week?
I think the Bandits are gonna be good. We'll
Yeah.
see tonight if they come through. I don't think the Maulers are just gonna be a pushover team because of Lauletta. I think he's gonna keep them in the game. But if the Bandits are legit, they should take care of business tonight with Jordan Tiamu in at quarterback. We'll see. My Breaker's gonna take care of business. The defensive line looked too good, and I think having a elite defensive line, I said it when I saw it, they picked Davin Bellamy and they picked Henri St. Amour. I was like, this team is trying to build a really good D line because they know that especially early on in the season, it's going to be hard to go against a really good pass rush and a really good run stop. And to scheme and play around, you're just going to have less limited options to go to try and beat that. That's the hardest thing to beat is when your quarterback's getting hit like Brian Scott was last week.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty pumped for this Breakers team and the way they've established the strengths of the team early. Hopefully, Kyle Sluter, who's a veteran in this game, has been all around the NFL, been all on all kinds of NFL rosters, puts it together. He looked like a vet out there. He looked calm. He didn't get too frustrated with things going wrong in the offense, and I like that. And they put it together at the end of the game. But hopefully, he puts together a little bit better of a passing attack, because that was the biggest weakness for the Breakers, in my opinion, in the game, was just the passing attack in general. Receivers dropping balls, Slaughter being off target or just missing his reads, being a little bit late on some reads. That was the biggest things I saw from them. Again, we'll see what the Bandits do tonight. If they come out and they put the hurt on the Maulers, I might be a little worried.
So I am thinking I'm going to take the Breakers money line next week,
Let's
regardless of what it
go.
is, whether it's an underdog or a favorite, whatever they are. I'm going to take the money line because I think that people are overvaluing the Bandits. People love Todd Haley. I have no idea why.
Yeah.
I am a Steelers fan. Todd Haley obviously did great things with that offense, but my man was an absolute super putz half the time. So now all of a sudden he's going to be this great leader of men. Like, we didn't watch him be a complete tool bag on the NFL Hard Knocks version of the Browns team, where he was saying that he should be the next man up and everyone was laughing at him. I just don't, I'm not tracking this, that he's now all of a sudden the presumptive best head coach in this league. And I am going to bet against him at every opportunity I have.
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take as many people on my side as I can get.